Greetings, my friends. I hope you've been enjoying Space Marine 2 PvP as much as I have this last few days since the early access launch, but there are a number of big problems with PvP, so I want to make this as a positive, constructive video. I want to highlight the problems, I want to give some suggestions, because I very much want to be playing this game still in 6 months' time, and I'm just a little bit worried that the PvP is a little surface level. So let's go in, let's look at all the problems. I'll give my feedback, you can give your feedback in the comments. Alright, let's dive into the 10 big PvP problems with Space Marine 2. So I'm going to try and bash through my list of issues. The first one is the maps are not very long. Most of the maps I seem to be jumping into are 10 minutes or less. I've been in the occasional 20-minute battle. I would like to see longer, more epic battles. So that's number one. Number two is every battle is 6 versus 6, and you could almost roll this into number 3 as well, in that I have only seen 3 maps. So 6 versus 6 is fine, it's cool for skirmish. I wonder if the problem is that the graphics fidelity of this game is obviously very high, so 6 versus 6 may feel like that's perfect for the graphics, but if you've ever played other games, like I've played World of Warcraft, and World of Warcraft will actually let you have your graphics lower when you get into like a raid. So maybe we could have like 12 versus 12, we could have an extra graphics setting, we could turn the graphics down. I know I've got a good computer, and even sometimes I am struggling a little bit with the frame rate. You can see it in the top left of the screen. But yeah, so 6 versus 6, shorter game modes are 2 things that definitely I feel like would be improved. Another big improvement is, at the moment it seems like you can only ever queue into PvP with 2 friends. So you and your 2 buddies. So the second you have 4 or 5 people in Discord, a couple of you basically have to sit out. I really dislike that. I think that even in 6 versus 6, you should be able to queue with a whole team of 6. I don't see any reason you could not. If you can't do that, then I would say that the matchmaking system maybe needs an improvement. And I think that that is something that we should improve. So like number 4 would be the online matchmaking needs some improvements. I don't think it balances teams very well, considering like you can get stomped in a round, and then the next round you're against the same team that absolutely stomped you again. Now, I do think it's important that maybe the matchmaking is improved. And this comes on to like another problem, which is like a slider for Marine or Heretic. I played like 10 games in a row the other night, and I was Heretic every single game. Heretics obviously lack customization, and they have said that they're going to fix that, but I want to be playing as Marines, so I think I was actually thinking that I'd missed it. Like, I was looking at the game thinking, am I being dumb here? Am I missing an option that says, like, I would like to be a Marine or an Astartes rather than a Heretic? I think players should have a slider, which is like in the searching for the game, they should be able to pick, like, I prefer to play as an Astartes, or I would prefer to play as a Heretic. Because at the moment, I honestly have done like 10 games in a row as Heretic, and I swear that like it doesn't change your teams between battles. You can get stomped the next round with the 12 players, it's the exact same teams, you can get stomped again, and you're still Heretic again. It doesn't switch up the teams. Now, I know in other games like Battlefield or Counter-Strike, they would switch up the teams if it felt like it was unbalanced. And I think that's one thing that is desperately missing, especially when you can only queue as 3s. Like, if you could only queue as 3s, then why can't they switch those 3s around to try and find better balance? Now, I was talking to some of my friends in the Discord, and they were telling me that, because I was saying there should be some tutorials. I actually played a bunch of maps with my bulwark and didn't realize I could use my storm shield by holding C and blocking incoming fire. And then I said there should be some tutorials, like in Darktide, you know, that you have that like training arena you can go into in Darktide, and you can get some tutorials and you can get some help if you are struggling, or at least get told about the abilities of the class and how to use them. And someone mentioned that there was like a brief training arena, but I haven't found it. I don't play a lot of video games, so give me a bit of slack here, but if I haven't found it, arguably other people haven't found it either. So a bit of a lack of tutorials, or how you can play the classes effectively would certainly be appreciated. I get you want to just dive into multiplayer and go, but I think this would actually help out generally with people's gameplay experience, and it would remove some of the frustration that we may be seeing with the game right now. Let's come back and talk a little bit about these maps, though. These maps are very much, I think there's 3 maps, and I think they're entirely circular. And I guess what I mean by that is you can't really play as a team in the sense of you're walking around and around in a circle. Now, there is like the capture point one, I'm aware of that. There's the deathmatch, and then there's the moving capture points. But I feel like we need something like Levolution from Battlefield. If you've ever played Battlefield, they had a map mode called Rush, and I'm going to overlay like a map of Rush on the screen right now. And what it did was, it's very much like the bomb sites in Counter-Strike, if you're familiar with that. So one team would be set up to defend, one team would be set up to go offensively. And the cool thing about that, I think, is, I was worried I was going to get killed by that grenade. That's just pre-recorded footage. One of the cool things about the map and following forward and going through the level means that like you can have a clear and concise plan with your team. Right now, I feel like because the maps are circular, there is very little communication within your team, right? Like you can go through the whole 10-minute map and no one will talk to you. I think they probably I think they should build in VOIP into the game so you don't have to mess around and get your allies on Discord or whatnot. You can just get straight into the game and speak to your mates that are in your team. Like, I think that should be built in, voice over IP. But I think having more consistent maps with like attackers and defenders or anything like that would actually like benefit the game and boost the team play aspect, because I think the game is really fun. I'm not entirely sure on all the balance yet. Like I'm only level 6 in the multiplayer, and I do think the game is very fun, but I do think there is definitely some lack of cohesion or lack of team play in what we currently have. Now, I am aware in Space Marine 1 they added other maps, right? Where it was like there was that Dreadnought map where you could become a Dreadnought and then everybody work together and stuff like that. So I'm sure they have ideas for more maps. But right now, I think that the 3 that we have and the 3 game modes that we have, I would really like to see some sort of cohesive plan in the roadmap for improving this long term. Hey, look, I'm top. I'm actually not totally terrible at this game, which is cool. I've also played a few games where this rolling is being abused. Now, I guess the rolling is pretty cool, but you roll almost as fast as you run, and there is no stamina or anything on the rolling. You can roll for days. At the start of the level, when you start the level, just keep rolling. You'll roll almost, like I'm in one of the games I was in Gravis armor. I'm rolling faster than a guy in like tactical armor, and I'm just rolling and I'm rolling and I'm rolling, and it can actually be quite difficult to finish people off if they're just going to roll infinitely. It's a bit like when you used to crouch up and down all the time in Counter-Strike or whatnot, just to make yourself difficult to hit. So I actually think that the rolling should have like a 10-second cooldown. It's kind of obnoxious, even though I'm using it like lots of times to be top of the scoreboard. It should be nerfed. They should change the rolling. I don't think Space Marines in Tacticals armor or Gravis armor can roll 15 times in like 20 seconds. Now, some people have also mentioned to me this Reaver can do his grapple hook into you and kind of infinitely stun you and kill you using this move right here. This guy didn't grapple in again, but I feel like I've definitely been double grappled by Reavers. I believe they get 2 charges on that, and they can just stun you, hit you a couple of times. Here you go, stunned again, hit you a couple of times. I think that is very powerful and it could potentially be abused, but I haven't seen myself getting stun locked. But when I was talking about it in Discord the other night, someone was saying like the Reaver stun lock can be super obnoxious. Maybe I'm alright because I was Gravis there and I survived, but I survived by the absolute skin of my teeth. Now, I love games with persistent progression, and this game does have that. And at the end of the match, you can get all these little honors you can look at, you can get XP, you can get progression. But I don't actually see like any rank that is meaningful. A progression rank is cool, right? That tells me how much I've played the game, how many battles I have. But I never actually get told like I'm improving, I'm going silver, I did well, and you know, like, and can I even see my kills to death ratio for the classes and my stats? Like, do they come back? Like when you go back into the armory, I haven't found a way yet to see like my overall kills, my overall badges, all this sort of stuff. And I think that would actually help a lot. Like, a level is cool, weapon unlocks is cool, but actually being able to see some stats about me. And yeah, like I said, the team chat, here's me like, why am I heretic every game? Yeah, I already touched on that. Why am I heretic every game? Like, I am a Blood Angel, let me be a Blood Angel, god damn it. So yeah, the game mode that I remember that was really strong in Battlefield was there was this map in Battlefield. This was the map where basically the blue box is where we start as an attacker, and there was 2 bomb sites, And the idea was that the attackers would spawn and have to work towards the bomb sites. Once they reach the bomb site, they would have like 10 minutes to blow these up. If they manage to blow them up, they get another 10 minutes, and the next area of the map opens. And then again, the defenders are spawning near the bomb sites, and the attackers are spawning pushing towards the bomb sites. And in this map, there was 4 sections. I'm not saying it has to be 4 sections, but this was actually really cool because essentially within the game, the map kind of changed as you moved forward. It also means there was more play for like teamwork and snipers, because like quite often in these circular maps we have at the moment, if you're a sniper class, you're sniping and someone comes up and shoots you in the back and you just die, which is fine, I get it. But I feel like in a game like this, you could actually be like, right, I'm going to snipe, I'm going to the east flank, I'm going to try and cover like bomb site A or B, and then your team can start working around that, right? And I think that a more streamlined map, attacker and defender, or something like that, may actually be pretty powerful in this game. Because I think the game is great. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm loving it. I would like to see more players, and I would like to see more focused levels. And while we're talking about Battlefield, I think there's 2 other UI improvements that Battlefield had that would probably help benefit this game. One of the things was in the levels, you could press tab and you could see yourself where you were in the level, and you could actually see the overview of the various objectives. Now, at the moment, as far as I'm aware, there's no way to see a map when you're in multiplayer, so you can't go like, I should be going to B because B is the point that my opponent's controlled and B is to the north, so I know exactly where to go. You're running around on these circular maps, and sometimes it can be a little easy to get disorientated. You don't know if you're at your spawn, or you don't know if you're at the enemy spawn, and I think that an overview map would actually very much help. And Battlefield also gave you this little radar that instantly showed you, like on your hub, the control of every objective. And I just feel like, while it's nice having them placed like within your visual cortex, I suppose, like you're looking forward, you can see B is captured and A is not captured. I think it's quite nice having that on the HUD, like just to see it all the time, you know, like where you're weak at, where you need to go. I feel like that can also help improve the overall team play. I finally want to talk a little bit about a game that was released 80 years ago. This was Battlefield 2142, and they had this mechanic where both teams had like a flying gunship that you had to jump up onto from a rocket pod from an APC, which I guess we don't have in Space Marine 2, but the point was each team had this gunship. You had to choose as a team whether you're going to attack or whether you're going to defend. And in the gunship there was like 4 consoles. Each console was a choke point with a corridor leading to it. You could blow up the consoles either by shooting them or like throwing C4 onto them or shooting them with rockets. And if you did manage to destroy all 4 consoles, basically like the reactor core was exposed to your enemy. You would then be able to go into the reactor core, you would be able to blow up their reactor and take down their ship. Now, this worked really well with the Titans in 2142, but I don't see why this couldn't be 2 Thunderhawk gunships where, like, and I'm not saying copy this mechanic exactly, but I'm saying you could easily potentially have a battle where the Thunderhawk gunships have shields or something, or they have a hull door or something. You can blow open the hull door. I think that there's so much they could do with the maps. I'm not saying I know what the answer is, but I think Battlefield did a very good job of focusing the objectives around team play. And I think that's the one thing that this is missing. Deathmatch is cool. Killing other Space Marines or heretics is cool. Overall, the aesthetics of the game are amazing. But, like, could we take the PvP to the next level? So this is the roadmap they said, where they're going to give us ultra-wide support, private PvE lobbies, a battle barge sparring arena. So sparring arena sounds cool. We're going to get new PvP missions, PvE. We're going to get lethal difficulty. We're going to get new weapons. We're going to get new PvP modes only in 2025. And new PvP arenas. So they've maybe not really done all that much work on that if that's not till 2025. So I think I'm valid to throw out some opinions and throw out some of the problems. That's going to be a long time to wait if we only have those 3 maps and there is a lack of team play as it currently is in PvP. I'm going to be playing it. I just hope that I'm still going to be playing it in 2025 because I think I prefer PvP I think it's more dynamic, and I think it's got the most potential. But I think what we need is... No, it's funny, a lot of people complain on my stream because my weekly battle reports, we always play that symmetrical terrain. But I think in this instance, we don't want to be symmetrical. We want game modes where you're attacking or you're defending. We want game modes with more than 6 players on each side. And I think we want to be able to make... They don't actually ever mention private PvP lobbies. So if you've got your friends, you can't set up a game of PvP between your Discord servers. I was wanting to challenge Chapter Master Valrak. I watched the stream a little bit this week. He's been kicking ass at Space Marine 2. So I was wanting to take my Discord and fight his Discord. I don't know if we'll even be able to do that as it stands. So hey, that's my 2 cents. You are more than entitled to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about in the comments. I just wanted to try and have something to give some feedback on how we can make the game better, and to give my individual opinion. Normally I don't have a platform for opinions, but I do have a platform for opinions when it comes to Space Marine, so I wanted to give them. I really am enjoying the game. The single player has been amazing. The graphics are amazing. I'm saying it's a 9 out of 10 for me, but I think the PvP experience is shallow, and I would like it to be deeper, because I think that if it doesn't get deeper, I don't think I'll be playing in 6 months, and I think I'll be sad that I'm not playing in 6 months. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will catch you in the next one. By the blood are we made strong, my friends. Peace.